Welcome to I Be Well. I'm Jonathon Collopy, an executive director with the YMCA of San Diego County. The YMCA defines community well being as ensuring all people have the support, resources, and opportunities to live a healthy, vibrant, and meaningful life, body, mind, and spirit. And that's relative to our conversation today because we're going to be talking about cancer. We have with us our guest, Robin Toft. Wonderful to have you, Robin. Robin is not only a cancer survivor, but she is now the CEO of Curebound. And we're going to learn more about the mission of Curebound and the incredible impact they're having in our community today. So, Robin, welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. Can't wait to speak with you.
And I know, June is Cancer Awareness Month, and really lifting up those that have survived the journey of going through cancer. And so we're going to touch on that a little bit. And if I could, I know you've come through this personal journey of cancer, and I just wonder your perspective. If you could bring us back to when you were brought forward with that diagnosis and what that moment may have meant to you, how it came through, and maybe what it teaches all of us about life.
Wow, great question.
Thank you.
One of my faves. So that was 20 years ago now. I can't even believe it. I had a surprise diagnosis when I was at kind of the peak of my physical health. I just felt I was the most fit I've ever been. And, I was flying every 2 weeks to Europe for work and got sick on a plane and made my way through Europe and came back and went to a small ER on the coast side of the Bay Area. They told me I had cancer, colon cancer. Did I want surgery right now or in the morning? It was an emergency. And so that's how much lead in I had.
Wow.
And it is shocking because at the time I was in my early 40s and I felt great. Had very little forewarning. So what I would say is, in retrospect, what it taught me about life is everything changed at that moment. I quit my job. I moved back from San Francisco to San Diego to live on a mountain. And I realized that although my body was physically fit, my mind and my spirit were not. So you know how we speak about body, mind, and spirit. Thank you for
Yeah.
introducing that way.
Yeah.
So the recovery has very much been, it was immediate recorrect. It was also an immediate, I caused my own cancer moment. And I don't know how many of you feel like you're kind of running on a treadmill and are pretty, you know, intense about the way you live your life. That's how I was living my life. And I knew because I'd been in biotech for my career that it was relatively unhealthy to be that intense and driven about life. And I knew in that moment that I had caused my own cancer, which I believe you can do, having studied it my whole career and I now live and breathe it.
Yeah.
Um, to just know that you need to change your lifestyle. And lifestyle being, sometimes just the intensity with which you work. I was a workaholic.
Well,
So,
I
yeah.
appreciate, Robin, what you've shared in terms of your illumination, because first off, cancer doesn't discriminate. You were, vibrant, living, active, successful in career, and then we're struck with that in a moment. And in that moment, really, it sounds like dove deep into what relationship you may have with your body, mind, and spirit, and recognize that things are out of balance for you. And it sounds like
Absolutely.
prescribe for yourself a method of finding greater well-being.
Yeah, I think cancer is sometimes we wait for ourselves to hit the wall. It's like the train hitting the end of the tunnel, and we don't have to wait for that. I hope this can be a little bit of a warning to course correct now, and make sure that you have enough. What do I want to say? Like relaxation time built into your life. My life today totally different. I do wake up at 4:30 every day, but I use the first 3 hours as me time. And,
Beautiful.
it's kind of like I wake up, I read five uplifting books, I go for a hike with my dogs on the beach, I do yoga every single day. And by the time I sit down at my desk at 8 o'clock or 8:30, I'm feeling like nothing could stop me, but I'm also, very peaceful about the day. And I have a whole new attitude about everything.
That's fantastic because I did wonder after coming into that insight of how you may have a relationship to your cancer, how you lived after cancer. And it sounds like you really have found a way of being that creates greater balance, harmony for you, and even life satisfaction. And it sounds like you're probably aware of if something is starting to get out of balance and then feed that part of you that has that particular need.
Discipline. I kind of arrived at this. There's only two ways to approach the world, and my two are love versus fear, which is kind of a spiritual orientation. And so when people are acting out in meetings or being distressed about things, I ask myself, what are they afraid of? And I tend to approach everything now, and you probably saw it at the recent concert that you attended for Curebound,
Yeah.
with just giving out pure love every day.
Uh,
And I've kind of learned that the secret of success is giving and receiving as much love as you can in your lifetime. That's mine. So I
yeah.
think we would all know that, if we were faced with a life and death situation.
Yeah.
I took cancer as my opportunity to really reorient towards just approaching every day, every minute of every day differently. And it has just been a lifesaver. And I think it's actually world changing in some ways.
Yeah. Hey, and what you're bringing forward, love, it's simple but so profound.
Yes.
There's a particular mantra, love always. I mean, and it's simple, but if we come from that place, greater harmony within and outside of ourselves. So, but I want to, move into, you are the CEO of Curebound. So you have your own experience with cancer. I know, from my understanding, you served on the board with Curebound, and now the CEO leading this world-class organization, making a difference in cancer. How did that come about?
It was actually quite a surprise. I
Wow.
had, I'd had a whole career. I've actually like to say I've had four careers, one credential, but I did, 10 years in a laboratory, medical laboratory, 10 years in sales of biotech and diagnostic products, 10 years leading nonprofit boards and all kinds of boards, and building and selling a search firm to change cancer care. That's what I did when I got cancer. I was like, I'm going to change this and I'm going to build a search firm. Sold it successfully, was just relaxing on the nonprofit board scene. And I was on three, and one of them was Curebound. And Curebound was by far my favorite.
Uh,
I was taking up 30% of my life. And when our CEO resigned, we loved Ann Marburger. She was amazing. I said, choose me. I want to
um,
do this. And I was rewired, retired completely, ready to just kind of ride it out into the sunset. But this is so compelling to me. I love this company so much. And I really needed to, my whole life had been raising money for cancer research in all different ways and changing cancer care in my lifetime. So I just stepped into it, and it has been pretty much a fire hose. I've been there 6 months, and it's a blast, and it's
wow.
so over. It's just like very much another thing I've decided about life since my cancer diagnosis is it's all about experiences and relationships. And so Curebound is full of them.
Yeah.
You've been in the audience, you know what it is to be in this collection of 25,000 people who really want to leave the world a better place and change the way cancer is treated.
Yeah. Well, I want to give you an opportunity to share, and I know a little bit, but the mission of Carebound, and just the energy that you're speaking of. Why do you care so deeply about this particular organization?
Yes. So Curebound is a community-powered cancer research accelerator. And that means we work with the whole of the community, every single aspect of us, and raise money specifically to accelerate cancer research. Again, having been in this my career, I realize there's a huge gap between what happens in the lab and what actually makes its way to the patients, and that's not okay with me. It's never been okay with me. It's also not okay that you have to know someone when you get cancer in order to navigate That's way too complicated. It shouldn't be that way. And we are right on the brink of new discoveries that are so mind-blowing. We could cure cancer right now, right here in San Diego. We have everything we need right here in our backyard if we could only fund the gap. And I call it like bridge funding the gap. So that's what we've set out to do. Curebound set up an ecosystem model and works in San Diego because we're the most highly collaborative community that ever is in biotech. And so, we have 3 NCI designated research centers. We have all of this great discovery going on. We have our biotech headquarters. We're one of the top 3 in the country. And so accelerated research happens when the right people work together, and we're the catalyst. It's a blast. I mean, it couldn't be more exciting to me if I tried.
That's interesting. I recognize how expensive it is for research and then prospective cures to come forward. And so funding that gap is critically important to getting to that cure. I wonder, those of us that are listening, how can we all get involved and be part of this mission to find a cure?
We would love you to all be involved. And and I would just want to be clear, we just bridge fund the gap until they can get other sources and alternative sources of funding from venture capital but they need that. The researchers need that now more than ever because of what's going on with the administration and the government reducing research funding.
Yeah.
The way to get involved is we have 2 big signature events every year. One is the Cancer Challenge, which is coming up August 1st. It is so fun. It's a bike, walk, run, spin, but it's so much more than that. It's a full day with these people who are just holding space for everyone who's ever been diagnosed, all the survivors. We all kind of gather together. It's at UCSD campus. It used to be called Padres Pedal the Cause, so you might know it as that.
Yeah.
And that merged into the Immunotherapy Foundation in 2021 to be called Curebound. And so it's a really well-constructed day. It's so much fun. There are bike routes of 25, 50, and 75 miles. But beyond that, there's a walk. I do the 10K walk in a yoga class. And anything that you want to do that particular day, create a team, register yourself. You can even walk it remotely. I just put out a challenge, if you look on my LinkedIn and my Facebook, to the world that just sign up remotely and walk
I love that.
10K every day for 30 days with me as you train. So it's just a
love that.
blast. Raise some money. The second one is the concert, and you've been at the concerts. They are remarkable. We've had them for 4 consecutive years. The first year was Alicia Keys at the Shell. Second year, Ed Sheeran at the Shell. Third year, we crossed into big stadiums at Petco and had Elton John. So I think you may have been there last year. And this year, just 1 month ago, we had Pink. And, a lot of people will say, well, who is Pink? What she is having a year, but she is the most uplifting, inspirational person that we could have had for my first year as CEO. She embodies the mind share and the way that survivors feel. And I actually use this from the stage. My life right now, like every day feels like a Pink concert. And I think that's how it feels to be a survivor, is this lit up, brilliant, bright, vibrant thing. And she actually flew all over Petco from high flying wires as her finale. And then the fireworks and the confetti went off. But,
Robin, I love your analogy that as a cancer survivor, every day is like a Pink concert, because having the opportunity to be a part of that, just so inspirational. But beyond that, just this experience of community coming together and this oneness with a particular cause. It was just beautiful. And I had not known previously Pink's relationship, why she was offering herself in this particular way.
Yeah, recently passed away, and he wrote a beautiful song called "When I Get There." If you have a chance to listen to that song, it's just so compelling. But yeah, being held by that group, I call it, you fall into the Curebound family. Our logo looks like this, and you just fall into this we hold people as they go through this journey called cancer and help them survive it and thrive it on the other end, which is where you come in.
And this was immensely successful. The last note that I'd seen, it was well over 28 million that came through.
Yes, the 4-year collective raise
Oh,
was that, and this
incredible.
particular one night, 8.5 million
Oh my
for
God.
cancer research. And I don't think there's another nonprofit that can raise that significant amount of money. And it is because people really care about bringing the future to now,
Yeah.
accelerating what we know we can do with AI and early detection for all patients, and specifically for patients with colon, lung cancer, ovarian, and pancreatic, is really critical. And then new ways of treating. So we can use our own body's, immune system to cure ourselves. And that's what we all want. I don't want to treat cancer with cancer-causing agents like chemo and radiation.
Sure.
The future is to use our own body and our own cells.
Yeah.
And we know we can. It's a matter of perfecting those technologies. And, if you know cancer, it's about 200 different diseases. So it's not as straightforward as we would love. But we are on the precipice. And
Yeah.
what we need is to gap fund
I
this.
love hearing what you're saying in the sense that you're not just strictly focused on curing cancer. You're looking also at the treatment, the technologies that allow for better way living through cancer, living
Yeah,
with cancer,
surviving with cancer.
surviving and
I'm so glad
thriving.
you're saying this, Jonathan,
Yeah.
because we just talked about this yesterday. We're creating a community of survivors. And in the house that night at the Pink concert, half the lights came up as the survivors in the house. Survivors are going to live for 20 to 40 to 60 years, as I am. I'm already at 20, so I'm
Wonderful.
going to 100, right?
Wonderful.
So we need to teach people how to survive and thrive beyond cancer, and how to realize that you can, and knowing that you can and that you will is half the battle. And then actually getting access to the best tools and treatments is the other half. And so, when you read the books about, there's a book called Cured, where they studied stage 4 cancer patients like Lance Armstrong that recovered. And, what do all those patients commonly do? It's everything that I did very naturally, but like we need to know that cancer is not only can you cause it in yourself, but you can actually cure it if you really take the right steps and get access to the right care. Once you have cancer, you need to access the treatments that are available just to calm it down so you can actually implement this health
That
and wellness.
that's fantastic because it used to be that the drugs that were treating you for cancer were just horrific. And I don't have the experience, but just seeing others go through that particular journey. And now it is much more promising in terms of quality of life, extending quality of life, which is critically important.
Yeah, we're making cancer into, and I don't like the word chronic, but a disease that you will live with,
Yeah.
right? You'll live with it, and we're getting personalized medicine solutions, which is my favorite word. I've been in personalized medicine my whole career, but finally, and we started in HIV and AIDS, by the way, and it worked there. And now that is a survivable disease state. Same works with cancer. You give multiple drug combination therapies, you manage the side effects, and you hope that you keep them uh, you get them a lot more time with family and friends, and yet we want this to be a long-term sustainable life for people. I feel so grateful, and that's the other thing that makes me this committed to this mission. I want everyone to have this experience. I want everyone's life to be joyous even after cancer.
I love just the hopeful, joyous tone that you're bringing through and the outlook ahead. It's really remarkable. So I recognize why you're leading this organization. Robin, anything else related to innovations, breakthroughs that are on the horizon that are right in front of us?
Immunotherapy and cell therapy are so exciting and so fascinating, and yet they only work in certain cancers right now very, very well, and in other cancers less well. They are a thing that but I would say the most important thing for me is boosting your immune system and some people don't like the word boost. I'm on the La Jolla Institute of Immunology board. The immune system is your gateway to health. It's the thing, we all make many mutations every day, and your immune system, if you maintain it, takes them out. And so when I told you I was running on this treadmill and wearing down my defenses, that's
And
why I know that the cancer sneaked through. So you can have a genetic predisposition to cancer. but you can also never get it because we're not our parents' generation. And I really want to emphasize this because we're on this podcast with you.
Yes.
The immune system. So things that you do to take care of your immune system are obviously sleeping well, working out every single day in a healthy style of way, but not, running yourself into the ground. Massages every single week. I have a massage every single week to circulate the lymph, which actually keeps you healthy. And
Wow.
people are like, oh, that's just for your mind. No, it's actually a physical,
Yeah.
a thing as well.
Yeah.
So our immune system is a superpower. We can treat with immunotherapy to stimulate our own immune system to take out our own cancer cells, to actually target them within our own body. So we don't have to blast the body with chemotherapy that is painful and it makes, all your hair fall out and all of that. Like this is a thing that is so close and it's so right here in San Diego. Our 6 research institutes are through the roof amazing.
Mhm.
And we fund them all. I should say that. Curebound raises money to fund all 6 research institutes in San Diego County
Thank
and
you.
to put the money back into our community because we know we have what it takes. We are specialists in immune therapy. We are specialists in cancer vaccines. We are specialists in genomics, AI, all the ingredients that are really exceptional here. And that is why we're a biotech hub too. And then we use our biotech lens to select the best things to invest in. So we actually get grant applications every year. This year we got 188. The quality of the grant applications is going way up, and the researchers have to work across institutes and bring us their best and brightest ideas. And then we select them with biotech lens.
Robin, as you're talking, I'm just
Yeah.
getting so excited because there's this enthusiasm, and to me, there's this quickening of a process, bringing the best of the best together, and having the resources to bring about this cure to cancer and better ways of living during this period of time. If you are challenged with cancer, I remember more recently seeing Dr. Eric Topol, and he was talking about AI and how
Yeah.
it gives you the ability, who someone might have the predisposition for cancer if they're in their 20s, and it may occur and manifest in their 40s, 50s, and to make those lifestyle changes that you're talking about that allows you to boost your immune system so that you can maybe prevent that onset of cancer in the future. So really exciting. And I don't know if you want to share anything else about the AI thing.
Thing about AI.
Please, please.
So AI is so much better than our eyes, and so for years and historically, physicians would look at slides and look to see cancerous cells. And our first cure prize went to a woman at UCSD called Rebecca Rakow-Penner. And Rebecca has a new imaging technology screening a new way of detecting ovarian cancer, which is awesome because I
Wow.
have a genetic predisposition to ovarian cancer. There is no way to screen for it today. There's no way, and that's why everyone dies, because we find it too late. You
Yeah.
don't even know that you have it, right?
Yeah.
So this uses AI to look at the nucleus size. They can scan your body. The nucleus size is different. She's realizing it can also be applied to all cervical cancers. They've proven that, and it's probably can be used for pancreatic cancer. So there could become a day in the near future. We actually spoke about this at an event on Monday night with 100+ women who raise money for the Cancer Challenge every year, and there were patients standing up and talking. But she spoke about, there will be a time in the near future where we get scanned every year for cancer throughout our whole body, and that we will know our whole genome, as I do, and your genetic predispositions, and your physicians will know how to manage all that, and the payers will actually step up and pay for that because it will prevent these long-term ramifications and deaths that happen. Those are hugely expensive to our healthcare system, but there's time between now and then. Good news, the technology needs to be developed before we push for changes in healthcare, new standard of care. But it's on the horizon, and
The
with
world.
your help, with all
Yeah.
of your help, we can get there more quickly.
Well, the vision of the world that you're speaking of is so inspiring, and so really value the work that you're doing. One thing that I just want to share with you, and you're probably aware of this, but at the YMCA, we have a program called Live Strong, and that is supporting people that have come through cancer or are in the midst of cancer. And it focuses on body, mind, spirit, and community. And I'm just wondering what else other organizations in the community could provide. This provides, the things that I spoke of, that sense of community, but also just the stress reduction and just the caring and a shared experience. You don't have to even put it into words. You come together and you know what each is going through. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. It's a 12-week program the Y offers, free membership during that time. And just to see how people are lifted up is so beautiful.
We're going to partner with you on that because I'm going to set up kind of support groups for people with various types of cancer so they can know each other. But this is very much the whole part of the recovery is to get on an exercise program that works for you. You know, I've evolved over the course of my life. I used to be a hardcore weight trainer and all these things. I used to want to own a gym. Now I walk every single day. I walk at least 7 miles and I do yoga every single day. And they're gentle, beautiful activities that calm my mind because I walk in nature with 3 dogs. I have 3 beautiful Labrador retrievers. I take them to the beach in San Diego in the morning and we, out in nature.
You're
But I
hitting
think
all
just
those therapeutic elements
right,
with
all
your,
those
your
things. So just feel into and don't tell yourself you don't have time. You know, what's the activity that you super love and where can you do it in a way that you can reclaim your inner peace? Like I don't wear headphones or any of that. I just kind of zen
well,
out in nature.
we'll talk more about how we can partner. It'd be
Yeah.
wonderful to make sure that we can bring this to more and more people in the community. Robin, we could have talked forever and ever. Really, just the energy that you bring forward, your leadership, the difference you and your organization are making in the community is just profound. So I thank you. Anything you'd like to just offer in closing?
I would love you to hop online at curebound.org and register for the challenge on August 1st. I want to see everyone there. We're going to make it all about health and wellness. And it's not about riding for someone who died. It's about getting ahead of your own disease. We're going to do skin cancer screenings in partnership with ACS and your cancer risk analysis. And so you'll want to know all of that, like about yourself and just take care of this one beautiful superhuman machine that we have.
And Robin, I commit. I will be out there. I've got a
Awesome.
group of buddies that we ride bikes. We've done it a few years in a row, so it's a phenomenal event. So this has been a pleasure. Thank you. And to all those listening, please, until we're together again, please be well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a great day.